pete'stools.com.
G'day guys, Pete here again, Pete's Tools. Awesome to see you here again today. Another beautiful day here. I hope it's pretty good where you fellas are. Anyway, today what I'm going on about, fellas, is plasma cutting air supply. You know how you're cutting with your plasma torch and then you run out of air or your air supply drops. I want to show you what happens to your consumables if you haven't got enough air running through your plasma cutter. Anyway guys, same as usual, you like my videos, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment, come say good day at pete'stools.com, and let's get into this guys. Yeah. So guys, today I just want to do a quick experiment and show you guys how easy it is to bugger your plasma cutter tips. I mean, I use cheap tips, that's all very well. I like to save money, but I also don't like to waste them for no reason at all. So you don't want to be burning out your tips any sooner than what you have to. And it all depends on how much air pressure you got, guys. I mean, cutting 3mm plate, the air pressure coincides with whatever you're cutting basically. So if you're only cutting 3mm, you don't need as much air pressure. But like if you're cutting this, which is 5.5mm, 6mm, you're going to need a lot more air pressure. But what I've found with the cheap plasma cutters anyway, is the more air pressure you've got, the better it is. Doesn't really matter how thick you're cutting, but if you're trying to cut this sort of plate on low air pressure, you're on a hiding to nothing, guys. You're going to burn out your consumables quicker than you can say Jack Robinson, you know what I mean? And like I say, even if they are cheap, it doesn't make any difference. You don't want to be wasting your money. Well, I don't anyway, because I'm as cheap as Chips Pete, you know me, guys. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll just change out this tip so that we're playing on a level playing field, so we can compare apples with apples, basically. So I'll put a brand new tip in there and a brand new electrode, guys. So I'm not worrying about changing the ceramics, it's not broken. So as long as it's new tip and new electrode. There we go, this one's just a little bit shorter than this one, but it's basically the same thing, guys. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just cut this 3mm plate at 100 psi, and you watch how easy it cuts. And then what we'll do is we'll do exactly the same cut on exactly the same thickness, but I'll do it at 50 psi, and watch the difference. So we've got some 3mm plate here, guys, at 100 psi. Now I think a lot of you guys that are having trouble with your plasma cutter is that you haven't got enough air pressure going through it. That's what I had too to start off with, and I was burning out tips like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, 100 psi. See that, guys? It's like a hot knife through butter. Piece of cake. Cuts really, really nice. It's a really nice cut. It's got bugger all dross on it, bugger all slag on it. It's a really, really nice cut. Right, guys, now we'll do exactly the same cut, but we're on 50 psi. Now you might not notice a hell of a difference in this cut for the simple reason we're only cutting quite thin steel, 3mm, but you wait till we change to the 6mm and see what happens. Right, this is 50 psi. Can't cut as quick. But I will cut it. There, it's more jerky. The quicker I go, the less it wants to cut. See that, guys? It's still cut alright, but it wasn't nearly as quick, and it's not nearly as good looking cut. See, it's quite jerky. I don't know if you can see there. Can you see there that it's not a smooth cut like the other one was? See that one there, that cut compared to this cut here? Can you see the difference I'm talking about? That's half the air pressure. By now you're saying, well, it doesn't really make much difference, Pete, does it? Well, it doesn't really when you're cutting this sort of thin steel. But if I go up to 5 or 6mm, you watch what happens. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but it's starting to destroy the tip here because there's not enough air pressure going through it, and it can't cool it off, and it can't blow the plasma through quick enough. Anyway, guys, we'll do the 6mm. So here we got some 6mm plate, guys. So what I'll do is I'll change out this tip again so it's a fair test. Because this tip is starting to get worn as I showed you before. Now I won't replace the electrode, I'll just turn it over to the new side like so. Put them back together, put a new tip on. There we go, so we're all set up again, and let's give another go, eh? So guys, 5mm plate, 100 psi. Beautiful. See that cut there, guys? Not too bad, just a little bit of dross on it, but it's quite a clean cut. Can you see in there? It's quite a clean cut, and that's at 100 psi, and that's at 5mm plate. But watch what happens when I drop it to 50 psi, cutting this thickness. There you go, guys, 5mm with 50 psi. Let's see what this does. There you go, this is struggling. Let's go really, really slow, otherwise it doesn't cut properly. See that, guys, it just doesn't cut properly. That's one awful cut, guys. And see that there, guys, it's almost destroyed the plasma cutter tip, and that was only with 1.5 cuts. So the air pressure makes a huge difference on your cutting, guys. I reckon the air pressure is actually more important than what sort of plasma cutter you've got. You've got to have the airflow going through it, otherwise you'll burn out your consumables and you can't cut thick steel, and then you get awfully frustrated and you think, what the hell's wrong with this machine? And it all comes down to air pressure, I think it does anyway. But I'm only using the cheap generic plasma cutters, and I think they take quite a lot of air. So see that, guys, that didn't even cut properly with the drop in air pressure. See, so that makes a huge difference, guys. So guys, that was my little experiment for the day. If you don't want your plasma cutter tips to end up looking like this, make sure you're running the right air pressure. Well, make sure you're running a lot of air pressure. That's what I've found over the years anyway. The thicker you're cutting, the more air pressure you seem to need to blow the plasma through your torch. Anyway, that's enough shit from me today, guys. Same as usual, you like my video, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment, come say good day at peachstools.com. And we'll see you next time, eh? Bye.
peachtools.com